There are times where one must take up arms against an evil that threatens his home and thus bring glory and honor to his family and country. And then there's those moments where you wake up, stub your toe, and then realize those demonic bastards just burned down your farm and stole your favorite cow to use in some weird, off-putting ritual and decide that maybe, just maybe, it's time to remind those hellspawn that hippity-hoppity, get off my property is very much a thing no matter where you are. Welcome back everyone, I'm Farzi, and this is episode 9 of Diablo 1 Unique Items, Messerschmidt's Reaver. So, Messerschmidt's Reaver is a great axe with this awesome-ass looking sprite. It's definitely a heavy hitter, with stock damage and durability, that being 12 to 30 before modifiers, 75 durability requiring a whopping 80 strength to use, and its item quality is 25. And as for its other stats, holy shit do we have a smorgasbord of bonuses. 100% damage adds 15 damage, plus 5 to stats, and it adds 1 to 12 fire damage, so that's a hell of a lineup right there. But there's always a catch to these sorts of things, which brings us to the downside. Minus 50 to life. No such thing as a free lunch, kids. And now, the breakdown. 100% damage, which is similar to the massive prefix as explained in the Rod of Onin video. This is a major game changer. The stock great axe deals 12 to 30 damage before strength modifiers. And for those of you who don't understand why this is such a big deal, the first game ain't like the second or even the third one. Outside of two specific boss type enemies, that being Sir Gorash and Diablo himself being at over 1,000 hit points apiece, most enemies only have a few hundred, including the unique ones. This boosts the damage from 12 to 30 to 24 to 60. This is huge, as most of your standard enemies aren't going to hold up to more than 1 or 2 smacks from this thing. Hell, you can one-shot most enemies if your strength modifiers are high enough. So yeah, this is a beat stick of the highest order, and it only gets better from here. It adds 15 damage. This is an extra 15 damage, which is similar to the Carnage suffix, as it adds anywhere between 13 to 16 extra points of damage. So yeah, your beat stick got an upgrade on top of the massive damage it already does. 1 to 12 fire damage. This adds additional fire damage, same as the burning prefix. As long as your enemy isn't completely immune to it, you'll have that on top of everything else. Though I should note that fire and lightning damage adding prefixes and suffixes, they're prefixes, have all kinds of bugs associated with them. I found this a la Jarlock's Guide over the course of doing research for the script, and sometimes they may not do any damage or do too much. I have no way to reliably gauge this, so I'm going to assume based on time to kill or TTK that it's working, or the other stats are picking up the slack. Either way, it's not a bad stat, as long as it's working. Plus 5 to stats, basically the same as the moon stat, self-explanatory, more strength, more dex, more vitality, more magic, and all that it implies. So we have one hell of a gravy train. Granted, those last 2 stats might seem a little underwhelming, but at the same time, it's still one hell of a combination. But all good things must come to an end, and that's unfortunately where we do have this one massive drawback. Minus 50 hit points. This is a steep penalty. Let me put it this way. The most debilitating suffix in the game, at least hit point wise, is of the Vulture, which subtracts anywhere between 11 to 25 life from you. This is essentially double that. At max level with no modifiers, a warrior has 310 hit points. This brings it down to 260. This means you will be healing more often and either have to pick your fights more carefully or go balls to the walls and bum rush the baddies, which, honestly, given the sheer amount of damage this thing can do, works out far better than it honestly should. Though I will say that plus 5 to all stats does offset this somewhat, as we've mentioned previously, for every point of vitality you get 2 hit points as a warrior, so it's more like minus 40 hit points. Though for the rogue and sorcerer this is even steeper given their far lower hit point pool, though most of the time they won't have the strength for it without items, and unless you have a bunch of kit that says of the heavens, or again the aforementioned strength boosting items, you're not going to be picking this up anytime soon. And even if you did, the steep hit point penalties would prevent you from making any real effective use of this weapon. So what's my verdict and how do you use it? The Messerschmidt's Reaver is very much an A tier, just shy of being S tier for the warrior and F tier for the other 2 classes. Much like the Norse Reavers of old, you're either going to have to adopt a hit and run playstyle and strike at small or isolated enemies, or small pockets of enemies and isolated enemies, or go in fast and hard and overwhelm large groups in a blaze of fighting before they can mount effective defense. Given the incredible amount of damage you can do before stat modifiers to an enemy, up to a maximum of 87 damage in a single hit, at least as long as that fire damage works like it should, very few of the demonic horde are going to be able to effectively defend themselves without more than a few of their buddies nearby or having some kind of ranged advantage. Though, given the fact this is an axe means you're going to be getting hit more often, means you're going to have some kind of hit recovery item, and that steep hit point penalty means you're going to have to carry more than a few potions to offset this. Though having items that boost health also helps, this is where it falls just short of being an S tier item. Still, it's not to be underestimated. As for the other 2, just sell it for the 144,000 gold and get some better gear. Anyways, thanks for sticking around to the end. I appreciate your time, and I will see you all in the next video. Peace out!